So, oh, I'm going to do it this way. Hold on. Oh, that's what it was talking about. I didn't know what this laptop was talking about. Okay. Okay. So, let's do this. If you will notice the shirt that I have on today, it says, can you see that? Can you see what that says? It says Camp Liberty. And that is Baghdad, Iraq. Iraq. See that? I got this shirt when I took the job overseas to work in Baghdad. You know I be keeping keepsakes. I got these from when I worked at Wizards of the Coast when I first moved to Seattle. Okay? So, anyway, we're going to do What You're Really Meant to Do, Chapter 4. And as we do, let's start with a card. This is the deck master for Magic the Gathering. And it's this one, Black Planeswalkers. Okay. Let's see what card pulled up. Again, it's the Typhoid Rats. Okay. Death Touch. Any amount of damage that deals to a creature is enough to destroy it. Kidnappers caught in Haven Gull are given two choices: languish in prison or become rat catchers. The smart ones go to prison. Okay, so here we go. What you're really meant to do. And we already did chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. And this is going to be chapter 4. So if you remember, chapter 3 was finding your passions. And yeah, I know I don't have on the red wig. Not today. Thank you for noticing. I'm doing things a little bit different. All right. So anyway, chapter 4, understanding yourself. Getting deep, getting deep. Right, kitten? Kitten looking at me like, oh, Lord. Yeah, knowing, understanding yourself. The very thing that most people don't want to look at least not realistically. But if you can love yourself, warts and all, you're good. Some people will even kill other people to keep their dirty little secrets secret. You know who you are. I'm talking about you. That you will kill somebody else just so folks don't know the nasty little bugaboo that you are. But guess what? We all have something that we need to deal with. Me, being in America, I love being overseas. My dreams were different. I was so much more healthier. The food is better. The water is better. The air is better. The people are better. And remember, we had a group of guys that were going around from base to base raping men. There are girls that are getting burnt in acid, raped and burnt in acid in Baghdad. And guess what? Those people are better than the ones that we have right here. I'm going to let that sink in. I met fabulous people from around the world. Bosnia, Egypt, South Africa, Uganda. They were all there. And it was amazing because I got asked questions. They didn't treat me as if I was stupid. Like, for some reason, when immigrants come over here and their feet touch American soil, they immediately become different. That's all I can call it, different. But as soon as I left American airspace, the whole world changed for me. The whole world changed for me. And I will never forget that feeling. I will never forget those dreams. And that's why I kept this little shirt as a keepsake and a couple of other things too, but we won't get into that. This is chapter 4, Understanding Yourself. The power. Oh, and if you are interested in working overseas and have questions for me, let me know. Okay. Message me. Or leave a comment below, Okay. Understanding yourself, the power of narrative. What is your life story? What impact do your success and failure narratives have on your decision making and behavior? Let me say it again. What impact do your success and failure narratives have on your decision making and behavior? Do you understand why you behave as you do? Once you have worked on assessing your skills and discerning your passions, you need to take an additional step before turning to strategies for developing your career and reaching your potential. It's just the next one on the top of the deck. What is that? Flesh to dust. Destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Pain is temporary. So is life. Liliana Bess. All right. Let's see. Understanding your own story might sound simple enough. Surely you must be an expert on your own story, right? Or is it more complicated than that? Every action you take gains meaning when it is viewed through the prism of who you are. The better you grasp who you are, the better you will be prepared to manage yourself and take actions that help you to reach your dreams. Now, let me tell you, this is on page 83. Chapter 4, Understanding Yourself. Okay? First step, write down your basic story. Write down your basic story. Okay? Where you're from, where you was born, first memory, stuff like that. In this first pass, keep it basic and descriptive. Okay? For example, I was born and raised in Kansas City. My parents, Meyer and Florence, were born in New York City and moved to Kansas in 1951. My dad was the youngest of 8 children, blah, blah, blah. You know the deal. Do that. Okay? Excuse me. After you finish writing all that, what did you learn? Are you finished? Take some time to reflect on your story. What did you learn? You may be amazed by some of your observations and by the fact that you could be surprised by a story you thought you already knew. Maybe writing this story has caused you to realize that your parents and upbringing have been even more influential in your life's decisions than you thought. I know for me, growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, the earliest thing I can remember is that I want to get away. I want to get away. These people are, number one, way too nosy. Number two, I felt like I was being stalked. Number three, I felt like I couldn't really be myself. And number four, I felt that it was just weird. That's all I can say. It was just a very weird place, a very weird experience, very unloving. And I met other Jehovah's Witnesses when I left, and it just broke my heart how nice they were, because I wasn't accustomed to that amongst the black Jehovah's Witnesses in the South Park area of Houston. There's something evil, something sinister about them, and still to this day. When I went back on my way to Baghdad, I came through Houston, and I went to the Kingdom Hall with my mom, and still, and she's been there 40 years. Pray for her freedom, y'all. Pray for her freedom. Anyway, you'll learn it. You'll learn something. It's an exercise to help you to be able to not run away from what your story is. This is part of your story, how you came to be, where you're from, who you are. These are important exercises to learn, okay? Second step, understand your competing narratives. The success narrative, which is typically the predominant narrative you tell others, is your success narrative. That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. The failure narrative. In particular, there's a failure or self-doubt narrative that could also be told based on the facts of your story. As you might guess, this is not such a glowing story. This narrative seldom gets told in a job interview or included in the About the Author blurb on a book jacket. It is an alternative narrative that is present in your head. Let's do another card. What say you? There it is. It is the Basic Land Swamp card. M15. Okay. Yes, honey. The failure narrative. It's getting heavy. He says, I was an anxious kid. I tended to sweat a lot, particularly in social situations. Have you ever been the kid who perspires a lot at parties, especially when you're talking with girls? That was me. I was a bit awkward. In high school, I was a good athlete, but an erratic student, mainly because I struggled to concentrate and lacked self-confidence. When I moved away from home and went to college, I dealt with my awkwardness in a new way. I began to study a lot. In fact, at college, I studied all the time. I was very anxious to prove something and do well. I might tell y'all, keep watching. Before this is over, I might tell y'all the real deal about South Park. I might tell y'all. It's a secret. But it has a lot in common with Seattle, Washington, especially when it comes to the women. Seattle is just out with it. In south side of Houston, they're more hidden. I'ma just tell you. Witchcraft. There's a lot of that. That's why I put up Proverbs 28. And it says, no curses will work on you unless it's karmically. Unless you are reaping what you have sown, that cursing and all of that does not work. Despite their spells and their chicken bones and the none of that can harm you unless you have done something to karmically, whatever that is. You did something to them and they were innocent, and now you got to pay for it. You know? That's the only way that the curse will work. So if you did I post that? I think I posted Proverbs 29, but it's in Proverbs 28 if you want to read it on your own. So to wrap this up, the failure narrative, okay? He says, I joined Goldman Sachs after business school. I love the markets and the firm, and I felt right at home with other neurotic and highly achievement-oriented people at the company. Okay? So if you are neurotic and highly achievement oriented, like somebody else who ain't gonna confess to nothing right now. Boom, creature frog. Some big witches practice the strange art of batrachomancy, reading portents in the number, size, and color of warts on a toad's hide. That's that one. Okay? Yes, honey, you are not going to hear nothing from me. I ain't confessing nothing else, okay? Okay, so in one sense, the firm gave me a place to hide. I was always working and therefore didn't have to be very social. I could go on, but this gives you the idea. Okay? So boom, you got it. This is homework for you. If you do not have this book, get this book. You can get it on Amazon. You can also go to King County Library System or whatever library system that you have where you're watching this from, and put on here to get a hold for this book. You can put a hold on. They will bring the book to your library, whatever they call it, and you can go and pick it up. Then you want to check out all the different chapters. And like I said, this is chapter 4. Understanding yourself. And let me give you what page it's on. It's on page 83. Chapter 4 starts on, okay? Then there's a third step. Consider how your narratives impact your behavior. Okay? The fear of not being good enough for my father. The implications for you. Another variation on your story, your experience of an injustice. Like that man, Mr. Blake, being shot in the back 4 times by the police when he was only stopping a domestic dispute between women. Here's a message for you. If you are a man, stay out of women's business. Anything that's going on with the skirts, just leave that alone. Okay? That's also having an opinion about females and what they do or whatever. Just stay out of it. Just stay out of it. The same way as a female, I don't get into men's business. I don't want to. It is of no consequence to me, and I'm not interested in it. And that may have been a detriment for me when it came to my sons. I'm just not getting into it. I'm not getting into it. Men have to be able to solve their own crap, just like women need to be able to solve their own crap. Okay? That's part of it. That's part of it. Okay? I don't have a pickle, so I can't discuss that. And you don't have no eggs, whether they scrambles or whatever. Leave that alone. That's not for you to deal with. Just deal with what you need to deal with. That's enough. Okay. All right. Now, understanding yourself. The cost of failing to process injustice, being at your best, the chef who got sick of his job, self-awareness versus should. That's me. I'm duty bound. I do what I'm supposed to do. Whether it's me or not, whether it's comfortable for me or not, I just try to do what I'm supposed to do. The role of self-understanding. Suggested follow-up steps. Okay. That's for you to do. I'm outie. Talk to y'all later.